Hello, everybody, and welcome. Starting a little late, I apologize to everyone, but we are here. It is the Warhammer Youtuber 2015 Awards Show Spectacular. Holy crap, that's a long title, but we are excited. I am here with another member of the committee, Mr. Kieran Dunleavy. Kieran, how you doing?
Hi, folks. That title is fully deserving of all of the words that are made of it, though. I'll give you that. This, so far, in the year of 2016, is the most important day of the year so far. I think
absolutely.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to giving accolades where it's very deserving, and this is going to be full of positivity, which is something we all need to launch the year with and carry on with.
That's right. I completely agree. This was a fantastic turnout. Just a couple quick things I want to say up top. One, thank you to everybody who made content this year, who showed up on here or not. If you're making Warhammer related content, thank you for filling my life with hours of entertainment and making it so I don't have to watch crappy network television. It's greatly appreciated. Two, thank you to everybody who voted, who participated in the survey, who took the time to fill it out, whether you picked one of the pre-existing options or gave a write-in. You took the time to make your voice heard and to thank these content producers for their work, which I think is totally awesome. We had a huge response this year. It was well over double what we had last year. Not quite triple, but that's okay. We'll get there next year. I'm confident that this is going up year after year, so that's all right. We just need to we'll stay on this trajectory. I'll accept linear; doesn't have to be exponential. But Kieran, so I think what we're going to do, right, is just go back and forth, you and I. And Will is not here yet. I believe he had gotten called away, and we didn't want to delay the show anymore. But he may still be joining us. But we're going to go back and forth. We're going to talk about each category. We're going to give the winners, right? And Kieran, I believe you have something to say about what the winners are going to receive, right? Don't you have something, perhaps?
I do. So we're going to kick it over to a little bit of screen share opportunities here, and maybe I'll say this before I show it up. In case we don't say it here at the end, after we've announced all the winners, you will obviously hopefully watch this and see your name, or if you don't, you will pass it on to the person who's named as the winner, and that person will get in touch with me because I'm going to send out the awards to each and every of these winners. So I'll need to get mailing address and that such thing to make sure that these winners get their just due. So here's what we've created for those winners here. This is a mock-up of it, obviously not with the actual winner's name down there on the bottom, but this is the placard that's going to be printed on some high-quality certificate paper that you will then be able to frame and hang on your wall and hopefully have right behind you while you're doing all your future videos so that people can understand your talent and legitimacy right from the get-go. So that's what we'll be doing.
Absolutely. We want to, and I love what you put together there with the picture. I like that we've got a little bit of age Sigmar, a little bit of ninth age, because it's all Warhammer, and that's what this community celebrates. Everything and anything related to the Warhammer hobby, to the modeling, the wargaming, and everything related around Warhammer.
Yeah, we got the mighty clash between good and evil represented here, so that no matter which side your allegiance falls, it could still be representative of the clashes that go on those battlefields.
Absolutely. So, I will put my email in the description of of this video once it goes live. If you already have it and you hear your name, that's fine. Feel free to just contact me. You don't have to wait. And then you can forward to me your contact information, and I'll make sure that gets around to Kieran and people who need it. And we'll record all that.
I certainly don't mind putting mine in there, Vince, so we can put mine in there and they can get me directly.
Sure. I don't mind sending it to both. I just want to make sure I mark off who all's contacted. That's all, just because I have I've got my tracking sheet. That way I know what all has happened. So whichever way that goes around. There we go.
So in other words, Vince needs to be in a loop too. So
yes,
we'll get it. We'll have you notify both of us.
There you go. Vince has OCD and everything has to be tracked properly in his Excel spreadsheets for each year, so I can have all my files. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And thank goodness for that. Thank goodness somebody's doing that.
It was interesting to go back and look at last year's reports. We had a lot of great winners last year, and I will say, this year looks a lot different than last. So let me just give that little teaser right up top. We had a lot of new people come up this year. Obviously, this has been a year of a lot of shakeups, and that means that we've had a lot of space for some new people to get in there, start producing some great content. And this has been the year where I see many, many different and new names, even if they're not winners, getting a lot of votes, clearly getting some traction within the community. So as we go through this and talk about who won, we're also going to talk about, people who we saw get a lot of positive response, sort of some honorable mentions, right? Because, yes, there's only one winner in each category, but in some cases, the people who won by just, a very slim margin. And we're not going to go into the detail of the numbers, but we certainly want to make mention of the fact that a lot of these people did get a lot of votes and clearly are getting a lot of attention within the community. And we want to make sure that they're mentioned and called out and given the due respect they deserve as well.
Maybe I'd also like to add in there and slip in, Vince, so that we're not remiss about this, that because of this reason, and because we're a community where so many people deserve acknowledgement, we are not going to duplicate awards here tonight either, except for the best overall. Could be a duplicate winner of a prior one, but through all the 10 categories that we've chosen and put out there, we won't have any duplicate winners in that.
Yep.
Because it's a share the wealth, and everybody and so many people deserve acknowledgement, even though there might have been people that were represented in several categories. We want to make sure we do that. Yep.
And that's the exact same rules we had last year too. So we're basically just nothing has changed there. It's second verse, same as the first. So with that being said, Kieran, you want to take us through our very first category and our very first award of the night?
Let's do it. So we'll open it up. This category that we're going to start off with is the best competitive battle reporter. This is defined as those that are looking at tactical analysis in that battle reports, going a little bit more in depth about the whys that you choose units and the choices that you make along the way. We see a couple of old vets in here, as well as some new folk. And if I am looking at the card here, I want to make sure that we give the right award to the right person. And I can see here that the winner is Miss Columbia. No, wait a second. No, wait a second.
She was a big write-in candidate. I mean, it really, you wouldn't expect it, but she's been making some great battle reports.
Yeah, second place, Steve Harvey. But all jokes aside, people, our winner in this category is the mighty Godfather Once Bitten 360, who had, when I look across the board, it's maybe worth mentioning that he had a greater margin of victory than most other categories that we did. But other greats in there, like the Sustainable Center at Skaven and AZ, Paul Keenert and Long Island Wargaming were all other representatives that garnered quite a lot of the vote as well. So our first award then, congratulations to not Miss Columbia, but Once Bitten 360. You are the winner as the best competitive battle reporter.
I mean, they're basically twins. You see a picture of Miss Columbia, you see a picture of OB. As long as they're both in a swimsuit, it's basically the same thing. So,
that's right.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely. This was a great category, and OB. This is a two-peat for him. Let me just say that he took this category last year as well. Mm-hmm. So we'll be watching in 2016. Can OB hold his title? Can he get the turkey, the Triple Crown?
At which point we'll also be able to call it a dynasty.
Absolutely, that is correct. Is this the second? Is this just another step in the once bitten dynasty? Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Okay.
All right.
What do we got next one down the line?
Yes. So our second category was the best casual battle reporter. So obviously, when we talk about casual battle reporter, as we mentioned originally, this is for the battle reports that turn to maybe the more fun side of things. It's maybe a little more narratively driven sometimes. It's just laid back and a little more relaxed in the way it's pursued. Now, there were a lot of strong competitors in this. Tabletop Minis obviously came up in the last year. They're doing some great fun narrative stuff. And then obviously still a large amount of votes for some old favorites like Materum and Lord Tremendous, as well as Chihammer coming out very strong. He's been really just knocking out the bat reps this year. But in the end, it was a new guy who took this category, and although it didn't have like the OB margin, it was a good margin of victory, and that is Mr. Doom and Darkness. So it's our Australian connection, the winner from Adelaide, as it were. So we've got a long way to go for this prize. It's got a journey way around the world down to where it's summertime. And congratulations, Doom, on the best casual battle reporter. And I think that people responded well to it.
Yeah, so Doom and Darkness, better get me your address really quickly, because it might take till March for the mail to reach you.
It's got to go on a steamer ship. There's a lot of work to get around there. There's probably pigeons involved. I don't really know.
Well, being that Australia is a penal colony as well, it probably has to pass through many scanning strictures before it gets allowed into the country as well.
You got to get by all those guys with like wearing football pads, like on four-wheelers and stuff. It's all basically. Their postal service is basically Mad Max. So there you go.
That's how we imagine it. All right. Well, good. Congrats on that one. So let's move on to the third category, which is a brand new category for obvious reasons. And that is the best Age of Sigmar content. And when I say for obvious reasons, well, it's because Age of Sigmar has only existed for 6-7 months at this point. So it was an opportunity for loads of new people to get involved into the scene. And that's exactly what we saw. A couple of names of people that were doing Warhammer content before still appear in here, like Andy 2D6 and MC1 Gamer and Warhammer. Doom and Darkness appears here as well, because he's jumped onto the Age of Sigmar, as well as a couple of brand new channels that, at least if I'm misinformed, are entirely brand new. Who's a Doom and Tabletop Minis. I don't think we had anything from them before then, did we?
Not that I know of. No,
the community will correct me, but they certainly really jumped to the fore and did lots to do with Age of Sigmar. Now, consequently, this was a category that was very hotly contested, and there wasn't a great deal of margin between them. But our ultimate champion and the winner of this award for the best Age of Sigmar content is Tabletop Minis, whom you had just mentioned in the prior category as doing battle reports, and I can say that I've watched a few myself and can understand why this guy is deserving, because they're energetic battle reports, and they're entertaining and well filmed, and he's got some good production around them. So congratulations to you, Tabletop Minis, best Age of Sigmar content.
Absolutely, yeah. Riath's a great guy. We had him on the show. Super nice. I'm glad they had to take some time off there, for a short period because of some other, life things as our wants to get in the way. But they're back now and making a lot of great content. And we're happy to see them back. And this is a well-deserved award for sure.
Indeed. All
right. So the other half of that coin, as you mentioned, AOS came out middle of the year. Well, there's a tails to that heads, and that is the best Ninth Age content. And I can already see somebody getting angry at me because I called Ninth Age the tail or whatever. Like, it doesn't. It can be either side of the coin you want, people.
They are equal.
They are equal. Yes.
Both sides of the coin are equal.
Right. They're both worth a quarter.
They both burn up the equal amount of times in flipping.
Yes. So we had our best Ninth Age content. This one again was actually fairly contested, just because there were so many different people producing Ninth Age content. It really, Ninth Age only spun up, very much toward the end of the year. Like Age of Sigmar might have had 6 months. When you really look at it, at the time this voting started, Ninth Age had basically 3 months, right?
Maybe September is when that stuff started to become prevalent.
Right, exactly. So certainly there was a lot of work being done, but it wasn't really in the minds of the community, and people weren't producing a lot of content around it. So as a result, this allowed some new people to get in there to make a lot of content, as well as some old people who've been around for a while to get on board. And so this was a really fun mix of old and new. And certainly OB and Sustainable Center and Doom and Darkness, Chihammer, and Tuna Sandwichify, I just want to say, did not all did well and got a lot of votes. But in the end, our winner in this category was Dieter. So just the dark horse coming out ahead. And I credit it to the fact that man made so many lobbying comedy videos. I think that's what got him over the edge. I think people responded and voted Dieter. Right before this show, when I posted it up, Mickey Jenver's response to the posting was vote Dieter. So, I mean, it's worked. His branding has worked. So, Dieter, congratulations, man. It's now that you're a title holder, that's it. You've got to make a lot more Ninth Age content. So we expect great things from you in 2016 as a newbie.
No, I certainly agree with you. I think his lobbying videos pushed him over the top in a already tight category and a new category. So yeah, take ownership of that, but be proud of the fact that you've already done some stuff that's got some merit and gotten some attention already. So bravo. Okay, shall we move to the segue to the next one?
Absolutely.
Which is an award for the most thought-provoking content. Now, this to me is the most interesting of categories, simply because I think you can be attracted to this kind of producer for a lot of different reasons. Whether you like somebody that's very analytical about gaming and tactical approaches, whether you like somebody that talks about the grander environment in which our games exist, whether you like the types of videos that are comparing Age of Sigmar to Ninth Age to Warhammer to other games that are in our miniature wargaming universe. I think it's really broad and it kind of encompasses all that. So we see some names in here that we've talked about already. Once Bitten 360 and the Sustainable Center. Doom and Darkness appeared in here as well. Our old friend Reef, who is Reefy in retirement now, but famous for his rants and commentary. We also have a couple of newcomers, Paul Conti and Nicholas Bollert. Those are all guys that garnered votes in this package. But ultimately, the guy who makes you think about the business, the analysis of the game, and the tactical approaches, our winner for this category is Anthony at the Sustainable Center. Oh, and I stumbled on that. Sorry, Anthony. The Sustainable Center is our winner. Most thought-provoking content. Oh, boy.
I think you would have been right if you said most provoking content as well. That both are probably true. So, I suspect that's probably a big reason for Ant edging this category out. He's had a fun time this year because he's had a lot of transition, and he's been posting a lot of thoughts about all these games. He's been experimenting with all these different games he's been playing, Drop Zone and Malifaux and all these things. He's really been sharing his journey there with the community, and I think that's probably a big part of the victory, is that he's made us all think about not just what we're playing, but what we're not playing and that kind of thing. So there you go.
And maybe I will change your award to say the most provoking content. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Well, only because Ant got it. Yes, that's exactly correct. And he is a provoking fellow. All right. So then we turn to the category that is really specifically about that new blood, right? That new energy coming into our community, into the Warhammer YouTubers, and just starting to light some fire. These are the young guns.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, here we've got our Emilio Estevez's, our Christian Slaters, whatever you want, whichever your preferred Young Guns is.
Oh boy, when's the last time you watched a TV show? Names like that.
And that is, of course, Best New Series. And so for Best New Series, we had a lot of different respondents. And much like the AOS content one, this was a very hotly contested category. There was a lot of people that were very close here. And, you know, the margins are small. Even going down the line, everybody got a lot of votes in this throughout. So I thought this was a really cool category to see just how excited everybody is for all this new stuff. And everybody sort of got their individual favorites, but people are all finding stuff to watch. So some honorable mentions here to Tabletop Minis, to Doom and Darkness's Just Do It series, the hottest new painting series on the internet. MC1 Gamer with the Unlocking Age of Sigmar. Obviously, that was a big one. And James Squires with Star Mini Gaming's narrative thing, which is truly unique. So that you know, there's a lot of good stuff there in that category. But the winner, and I think this is very well deserved, two very fine and upstanding gentlemen from the mother country. And that is, of course, Andy and Rem from the Andy and Rem show. I think obviously it's a big hit. It's taken off. It's great to see the two of them have such a fun, entertaining show every week. I especially enjoy, they are very Abbott and Costello. You've got your straight man and you got your comedy man in that show. It's the perfect combination. If you're not watching Andy and Rem, highly check it out. But they are the winners for Best New Series. And congratulations to both of those very, very fine gentlemen.
Yeah. And I would add that they also have good musical interludes as well.
That is true.
Well,
they've got half of the crew as a rock star, so that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, courtesy of Remington Steele, he shows his talents off. So that's good of him. All right, so let's move next to I think a very important category. This is the best hobby advice category. This is the one thing that universally ties in everything that we do. Whether you're a favorite of Warhammer or of Age of Sigmar or of 40K, 9th Age, etc., no matter what it is, this is a universal category that can benefit all of us equally. So there's a few mentions here for folks that were pretty active earlier in the year and have fallen off, but they still got mentions, and that is in Alicia Merritt and Paul Keenert. But when it came down to it, the two biggies that were consistent throughout the year and always doing something that benefited everybody were Victor Case and the Terrain Tutor. Now, obviously, the two of them are doing very different focuses. Victor did a whole long series of videos about painting and showcasing his talents there, while the Terrain Tutor, obviously, by virtue of the name, was doing lots of stuff with great regularity in terrain building. So, Vince, this was a topic that you had brought up, and you brought it up that you were watching the votes ebb and flow throughout the whole thing, and these two guys were neck and neck right until the very last couple of days. And the data that you gave me here, the difference after nearly 300 people cast their votes in this category was 5 votes between the two of them. And our winner for the best hobby advice category is Mel the Terrain Tutor, for all of your great offerings.
Yeah, so, and this was the tightest category. I mean, the two of them here, you had two thoroughbreds just racing neck and neck to the finish line, and it really was a photo finish. They were tied for most of this contest, and both of these guys are just doing awesome work for the community. I have learned so much personally from both of them. I know I am grateful. They're taking so much of their own time to put out very detailed tutorials and advice on everything you want to do in the hobby. And so both these guys are amazing, fantastic gentlemen that I'm proud to have in the community. But, you know, a great win for sure to the Terrain Tutor. Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
Yeah, stay on the hobby tip and go to the next one.
That's right, exactly. So next up, we've got Best Model Submission Painting. So these next two categories are fun because there was a lot of different participants and they are very subjective, right? These are art categories. There's no doubt that some part of what we all do when we hobby is art. And art is ultimately an extremely subjective experience. And so just as I predicted, this category was just, all over the shop. Okay. Like everybody got votes here. So if you have, there's too many, this is too big of a thing to name too many honorable mentions to name everybody. But rest assured that there is nobody who participated in this who did not get a good number of votes. This was the most even of all of the categories, these two, both painting and conversion. And so by consequence, the winners have the slimmest margin of victory. That being said, there was a very clear winner. My honorable mentions first, I just want to make sure we give out an honorable mention to James Wilson for the Mordheim Bar Brawl, which was truly fantastic, and it did garner a very positive response, as well as Victor Case with Lord Celestant, which is just gorgeous. Gorgeous, that man's Lord Celestant. But there was one winner, and that one winner, I will go ahead and screen share here. There we go. All right, hold on. That one winner is that right there. So my co-host from Warhammer Weekly, Tom Lyons, won for his beautiful dwarven characters here. We've got the special edition Shield Bearer Lord with the White Dwarf on the other two named guys, Gotrek, and then the other Drunken Dwarf, Bugman. There you go. I knew I'd get it eventually. Obviously, the glowing runed Anvil of Doom and all of this. Really just a great piece. Good use of metallics, great color, very, very clean paint job. Absolutely fantastic. And people responded. I guess that contrary to my popular belief, there are a lot of fans of the stunties out there, and they came out in number supporting the Dwarven Lords, and Tom took the victory. So congratulations, Tom. That's super awesome. To everybody else, wonderful, wonderful submissions for painting this year. It's been great to watch everybody evolve and journey and such in the PMP. And there you go. That brings us to conversion, which I've got that queued up as well, Kieran, but take it away.
Okay, great. So I don't need to say much more than you said already. This was equally hotly contested for the same reasons that you mentioned. A lot of this is subjective. The only, I guess, extra layer of qualifier that we put things into this category was that it had to be a not out of the box model that you painted. So we saw folks kit bashing all sorts of things together, from 5 or 6 different kits, all the way to sculpting from scratch an entirely new model of their design and bringing it to the forefront, but also executing a great paint job on there that was evocative and had to be eye-catching enough to get on this list, and had to be exceptional enough to garner a lot of votes from people. So again, with nearly 300 votes in this category, a few to quickly make mention of. First of all is Mickey Genver, which was a favorite of mine. Lee Ashcroft did a Nagash. Mr. Lee Mech Shop and Skeleton Flower all did some great things. But ultimately, the champion in this category, and if you want to throw up the screen share to show this one off.
Absolutely. Here we go.
This is done by a fellow Canadian of mine, so I feel a very great kinship to this man. Marrok Wolf is the creator of this gem, his Lizardman, and he's done these all as a crew for Mordheim. All kinds of green stuff sculpting in here, and hours of talent been exhibited. A few months ago, when we were going through the PMP reviews for the month and came across these ones, I really thought it was upon me to tell the community to really pay attention to this man and what he's going to do for the future, because I think that going forward, we all have so much to learn from this guy in the depth of hobby that he's presenting with these guys. So super congratulations to Marrok Wolf for his Lizardman in the best conversion category.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's funny because even since then, he converted up another like green killer croc Saurus, and it's just as fantastic as that one. So the hits just keep on coming. And last night during the Pain episode, he was working on the Gorok for the contest from Warhammer Weekly, and so he's progressing on that. Really great stuff. Absolutely. So that brings us to the final voted category, which was most consistent content. And this is a thing that I certainly value because as someone who spends a lot of their days sitting in this chair, watching stuff on YouTube, consistency is highly valued by me, and I know by a lot of other members in the community. And so most consistent content also speaks to the fact that that person is willing to go the distance and really keep producing it for the love of the game, right? And so we had a lot of good, a lot of really good turnout in this category. And it was, again, fairly even in the votes. Some honorable mentions, Andy2D6 for their weekly show, obviously with Andy and Rem. You had Doom and Darkness, who's just been putting out a ton of content recently. Victor, for all of his, you know, both Victor and the Terrain Tutor showed up here because they both do very, very regular weekly hangouts and tutorials and stuff like that. But the winner here was one of the guys who's just been, as I commented earlier in the show, been knocking out great, consistent battle reports over and over again. And I believe he was also the recent winner, if I understand correctly, of the Content Team Hobby Challenge, which was Chihammer. So Chihammer Fantasy Battles is our big winner for most consistent content. And I think that is very well deserved for sure.
Yeah. I have to admit to you that he's only a fellow that I came across and started to watch in recent months, but and until then I didn't notice it. I think it was William actually that tipped me off to him, and yeah, he does great quality. For those of you that haven't watched him, which is probably a lesser percentage than have seen him, obviously, if he gets this many votes, please give it your attention. I think you'll enjoy what you see out of his battle reports there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the normal categories. And of course, that leaves one big one.
But I was going to interject before you do that. I want to leave it to you because you've been the leader of this initiative to announce the best overall. But I do want to slip something in here first before we do that. And that is, I want to say that that in his humility, both Vince and Will have exempted themselves from these categories, as have I. So Vince and Will both did get votes across the board for these, but because of their humility, they weren't actually the largest vote getters, but they were certainly mentioned. And that acknowledges that you all out there recognize the efforts that those two guys make. But I want to make a special noted, I guess, acknowledgement of effort to Vince himself. So I am going to create one of these awards for our friend Vince Venturella, and it's going to look a little something like this. As a community leader, I hope that shows up for you, Vince.
Yes.
You, for community leadership of this Warhammer YouTubers conclave, you are certainly deserving of any accolade that people bring forward to you. And this was not a voted thing. This was not anything that was put forward by the community. But I feel that that our man Vince Venturella deserves this kind of acknowledgement, and hopefully he will put this behind his head and cover up that electrical box in the back corner of his videos with this videos, and for all to see. So anybody that disagrees with that, I will punch you in your internet mouth, because he's deserving of all the accolades that we can give him. So bravo to you, sir. I'll be sending that to your house shortly.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That is deeply appreciated, and thank you to everybody who did cast some votes for me, who wrote in. That's very nice of everyone. I don't I don't want to make that in any way about me, but I'm super grateful to all the community and all of them. So thank you very much. I very much appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'll put it back to you to wrap it up with the finale then.
Okay. So best overall. This one, now how do we determine best overall? Well, rather simply. Obviously, there was lots of votes cast across all 10 categories. And so best overall is simply the number one vote getter across every category, including like write-ins and all that kind of thing, right? So everybody who got your total number of votes were aggregated together and put into, you know, some buckets, and whoever's bucket was the most full, they got the best overall. And so this year, our best overall, we had some strong competition in here. So some honorable mention. Last year's winner was obviously the Sustainable Center. They took it last year. Ant not winning this year. But OB and Andy 2D6, both also strong competitors if you look at the overall vote totals. But in the end, there is one member of the community this year who came out of nowhere and just like the twin-tailed comet impacted the scene, and just much like the warpstone flooding into Mordheim, just blown everywhere, content everywhere of all types, and that is Doom and Darkness. So Doom, you are the big winner this year for best overall. Buddy, I can't extend enough thanks for everything you've produced. It's been absolutely fantastic. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Doom, go check it out. 40K, AOS, 9th Age, even dietary advice, as he's recently starting the diet of Sigmar so you can live the Spartan lifestyle. It's really a lifestyle channel as much as it's a Warhammer channel. So yeah, do that. Well,
yeah, tremendous piece of work out of that guy, all across. Vince, I think we lost you here momentarily, but if this is still going on, Doom and Darkness, doing hobby content as well as all the various different games that are going on. It's a tremendous breadth that he's covering, and that's part of the reason why I think he got so many votes, because he really does apply to so many of those different categories that we mentioned earlier. So bravo to you, sir. I'll be sending not one, but 2 certificate awards to your house.
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay again now, Kieran?
Yeah, you're clear now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, I absolutely agree. It's the breadth, giving out, you know, teaching or giving people the inspiration to just do it. Very Shia LaBeouf style, getting those figs painted and showing battle reports and everything. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, Kieran, what are your closing thoughts for this year's awards? Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I think the thing that I take away from this year in YouTube is the freshness of it, right? If I think back, and let's go retrospectively a little bit, we'll think back to the previous couple of years where a lot of the content in as Warhammer YouTubers was very heavily weighted towards competitive, strategic sort of things. And with this turnover of Age of Sigmar and the demise of Warhammer Fantasy 8th coming into 9th Age, it has really opened it up for a whole broad spectrum of thought to come into play. And it's backed off, in my estimation anyway, from the competitive, edgy stuff to a lot more casual, hobby-oriented stuff. So that's the trend that I saw this year, and I'm more of that sort of a gamer, so that appealed to me a bit greater. Yeah,
I think the tent got bigger this year, right? Because you still have people producing that competitive content, but at the same time, there's a lot more. There's people doing thought videos, a lot more hobby videos out there, a lot more just casual battle reports, and people just sort of sitting and talking and stuff like that. And frankly, I love all of it, because that's great community engagement all the way around, and everybody can just sort of participate and make videos and produce content in the way that they're most comfortable with. And I think that's fantastic. That leads to the best possible content. And I think that this year has been a year, despite so many changes. And so I've said this over and over again in videos, but this was just a year of crazy change and impacts and earthquakes throughout the Warhammer world. And yet I'm looking at this at the end of the year, more than double the number of respondents, I'm looking at all these new faces along with a lot of the old ones still getting votes. This community got bigger. This community got stronger. And this community is making more and better stuff than it was a year ago. And to do that in this year, I mean, everybody out there, if you're producing content, if you're watching, if you're commenting and interacting with people, pat yourself on the back, because that is all what is making this community great.
Yep. And I might want to also add that if we're going to sort of transition and go forward in 2016, I would encourage those of you that are not yet producers who are watching this to throw your stuff out there. I mean, all you can do is add to the community by doing such a thing. So I want to encourage those of you that are on the fence about it, please get involved. Throw something out there. Let us know your thoughts so that we can have more fractal voting than ever next year.
Absolutely.
If it comes out of that, I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
I agree. I would love to see, I want to see the year where we have to give out an award to like 4 people because there was a 4-way tie on a huge number of votes between people because everybody's just making such incredible content. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So that would be very great. All right. Well, I don't have anything else to close with except to say thank you all very much. We appreciate you watching. One more time, if you're a winner of one of the categories, please do contact myself and Kieran at the emails that will be posted down below once this video finishes processing in just a few moments. Shoot us both an email with your address so we can send you out the award. Thank you all very much for watching. Kieran, final thought?
No, I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Maybe I'll just add this. Miss Columbia, if you want an award, send me your address as well.
Feel free. Absolutely. I'm sure. That seems completely reasonable. Yes, Hooves, you absolutely can. Yeah, he said if he's a loser, can he still provide his address? Absolutely. We'll send you the no prize. Everybody else will get a shiny new no prize in the mail. But for all of you, again, thank you very much. Looking forward to a fantastic 2016. And as always, we'll see you next time.